Welcome to the Way of Joy series for Nourish the Flame. This year doing it on solstice. So traditionally I've done this right between Christmas and New Year's, right before the new year. But this year I realized that our regular Tuesday class was going to land on solstice. And I thought, let's just really dig into some of these forms in a deeper way. So before we begin, I'll just say really quickly that the winter is connected to the element of water, and our organ that is connected to winter in Chinese medicine, the kidneys. So we're wanting to do some things that'll help strengthen the kidneys over this next 3 weeks together, as well as working with building that inner flame, right? Because when we go to solstice, that's the turning of the light. That's when we start to shift from the longest nights to the days getting longer again. And as we build to that, it's a really helpful, I believe, and it's something that I've done traditionally, to build the inner flame, to build that which nourishes you, particularly with these long nights, because that's a time when our dream world becomes very activated. There's a lot of information coming from the earth realm, and a lot of that has to do, that all has to do with how is the unconscious informing us? What are we learning from that? Hi, Trish, good to see you. Hi, Liz, good to see you. So, hi, Janet. Hi, Naomi. So as we go through these 3 weeks, we're going to be working on building that. What I'm going to encourage you to do is to do it as much or as little as feels right for you, right? So if we do anything that feels uncomfortable, or if it feels like it's too much, take a break, take care of yourself, right? I try to scan people while I'm teaching, but it's a little hard when we have more than 25 or 30 people in the room. So do take care of yourself is the main thing that I want to say. And before we actually start to move, I would love to just check in with folks. How many people here have done Qigong, either with me or somebody else? So just raise your hand so we can see. How many of you are Qigong teachers or have taught Qigong? Great. How many of you think of yourself as sort of hi, Alyssa, nice to meet you. Glad you're here. How many of you feel like you're healers or that you want to see shifting and healing on the planet? Lori, I know what a skilled healer you are. Janet, beautiful. Alyssa. And how many of you feel like you want to see a paradigm shift in this year to come, something shifting for our world? So I'm sort of speaking to the choir here, so great. So I think that part of what I want to work with is today we're going to work with the 3 gates of enlightenment. Next week we're going to work with a form called the crystal generator, and then the last week we'll work with putting it all together. So without further introduction, I think let's just go ahead and begin. So I did ask you to bring a water bottle, a glass water bottle, and at the end of the session, maybe I'll just do what I traditionally do for Nourish the Flame, is to do a little bit of work with that water. So if you have water around, that would be great. All right, so go ahead and stand up as you're able. And gonna stand with your feet about hip distance apart. And Sherry, I'll ask if you'll spotlight me. And place your hands on your hips. And let's begin by just starting to circle those hips around. And I don't know if you've spotlighted me yet or not. That's great. Thank you. And then let's go around in the other direction. Nice full circle all the way around. And change. So those of you who know me know that I pretty much start every class with these hip circles. But for those of you who don't know me, one of the things that's really, I think, useful about this is that it not only helps lubricate your lower back and hips. Let's go around the other direction, which I think probably any of us can use, especially since so many of us spend time seated at computers. So you want to just, every now and then you might stand up from your computer and just do this a little bit. It's also a really good way to integrate information because it's stirring energy in what's called the lower dantian. So it's a good thing when you're learning something new to every now and then circle your hips. Let's go ahead and stand with the feet hip distance apart now. Lift your toes up, separate them and put them down. Soften your knees and let's just shake a little bit. And as you shake, just relax your jaw, relax the space between your eyebrows. Let your head be kind of like a bobblehead. Just let you move your shoulders around, maybe your booty a little bit. Just shake any way you want to. The main thing is that it should feel comfortable. You're not pushing yourself or straining in any way. And shake the hands a little bit. See if your fingers can start to fill a little bit with blood. I had a teacher who used to say, do this till your fingers feel plump. So make plump fingers here, and then just relax and circle those shoulders all the way around. So as we do this movement, we're coming out of the lung season, which was the fall. We did a lot of work. We've done a lot of work, those of you who worked with me and those of you who are just coming fresh for the first time to this class. The fall, the element is metal, and the sensory organ is the nose, and then we have the lungs are the main organ of it. And when we are moving energy through the lungs, like we're doing here, you're working kind of like a bellows, pushing air through the lungs. We're helping transform grief or loss into courage, the courage to face whatever it is that you need to face when we're in a state of loss. We're now in the kidney season. I said before, that's the water element, and for winter. And really the emotions that are connected to kidneys are fear. And they say when you move energy through the kidneys, you're bringing in gentleness. So we'll be working with that in a little bit. We're going to go ahead and put the hands on the shoulders, do a back stroke or backward circle. And see if you can really go for as full a movement as your body allows. Now, if you feel like you've got an impinged shoulder, you can circle your elbows down here, or you can, experiment. Take yourself to the edge, but not into a place of pain. This is not a no pain, no gain type of system. Qigong is all about effortlessness. So we're going to take it to a place where we can just feel like, there's an opening, but not pushing into something that feels wrong. Okay, backstroke, one arm back, then the other, following your hand with your eyes. Relax your jaw, relax the space between your eyebrows. Don't forget to keep breathing. And then bring your arms down by your sides and drop your head over to one side. Take a nice full breath in. And as you exhale, bring that shoulder down. And then inhale, release. Exhale, pulling down, and inhale, release. Again, pull down, reaching out to the little finger, fourth finger, middle, index, and thumb, and rotate that arm back and forth. And then turn your head to look down at the ground. Bring your chin down towards your collarbone. Nice full breath here. And as you exhale, just let your chin sink down a little further. Take that back shoulder, pull it back, and then move your fingers down the back of your thigh. So you're pulling the shoulder down here. You're increasing the stretch here in the back side of the neck. And then bring your head to center. Hands behind your head, soften your knees and curl. Then roll up through the back, look up towards the sky or ceiling, bring your elbows way, way back, and stretch your palms up. And circle those arms all the way around. Nice full circle, relaxing your jaw, relaxing the space between your eyebrows, and then around in the other direction. And just let yourself imagine, if you would, that you're painting a circle on the ceiling with your palms, with finger paint. And you're going to bring that paint all the way back to make a full circle. And in my case, expose a little belly. All right, bring your arms down to the side, second side. Deep breath. As you exhale, bring that opposite shoulder down. And inhale, release. Exhale, pull down. And release. One more time, pulling down and reaching out one finger at a time. And then rotate that arm. All right, good. Then we're going to look down towards the ground. Bring your chin down towards the collarbone. Take a nice full breath. And as you exhale, just sink a little further. Take that back shoulder back and then pull it down. So your fingers are moving down the back of your leg a little bit. And then bring your head to center and let's tap up and down the back of your neck. So just tapping and then tapping along the occiput in the base of your skull. And then bring your hands to the back of your head. You're going to pull down and point your elbows down towards your knees. Bring your hands to your legs and take a flat back, stretch your tailbone way back behind you, top of the head going in the opposite direction. Pull your belly button up and round your back, and then arch it. So round and arch. Do that a few more times, rounding and arching, and again, rounding and arching, and then bring your thumbs to the inside, go for a cross stretch, drop one shoulder, look back over the opposite shoulder, and change. And change. And change. Come back to center, round, rolling up, inhaling up, exhaling, bring your arms back behind you, lace your fingers, squeeze those shoulders together behind you, and imagine that somebody is pulling you on a low diagonal back behind you, but you're going to resist by bringing your chest forward. So the shoulder blades come together, very classic stretch here across the upper body, and then release. Lace your fingers, palms forward, upper back, back, and turn from side to side. Relax your jaw, and then stay on one side and just move any way you want to. Just explore space with your hands. You don't have to follow me here. Just let it go ahead and move any way you want to so that you're just exploring that cross stretch across your back. Coming up and over to the other side. Do the same thing. Pull your back back like you're pushing back against a tree, and then move your hands around. And then come back to center. Bring your arms out to the side, turn your palms up, squeeze your shoulders together, lift your chin up, and squeeze the elbows back toward one another. Then open your arms out to the sides, lift your elbows up, circle back and down, then push like you're pushing apart two pillars. The moment, Samson moment here. Just really push shoulders down. And then palms turn up, deep breath. Exhale, squeeze and lift your chest. Inhale. Exhale, lift and circle those elbows. And out. Breathing in, breathing out, lifting up. Breathing in and exhaling out. Let's do it one more time. Breathing in, breathing out, lifting the chest. Breathing in, circle the elbows as you breathe out and push. Good. And then drop your arms. I'd like to just take a moment to do a little bit of a hamstring stretch. What I want to say is please be aware of what your body can do if you're in a wheelchair. I know that some of you are in chairs or scooters, that just be sure that you're not, that you're going to just tilt from the tailbone. So if you're seated or if you need to stay seated for whatever reason, you're just going to move from the tailbone here. What I'd like you to do if you're standing is to lengthen your legs and put your hands on your thighs for a moment and just lean forward. And as you lean forward, feel your weight go back to your heels. And then bring your hips forward, and you're going to, so your hips are coming forward, your weight's coming to the middle of your feet, and you're back to center. Now let's take a moment to focus on the ball of your big toe, the ball of your little toe, and then your heel. Then you're going to focus on the spot right below the center of the ball of your foot, bubbling Wells point or kidney 1 point, right? So again, kidneys is one of the elements that we work with at this time of year. And you want to have a sense of rooting through those kidney 1 points. Now, we're rooted through those kidney points, but as we go back, the weight shifts back to the heels, and you're just lengthening the spine. You can go down as far as me, you can go down just a little bit, you can go down further. You choose what your back and legs want right now, But the main thing that I want to know is that the weight is back in the heels. And then as you come up, you're bringing the hips forward. So I'm not coming up with my back rounding up. For those of you who do that type of yoga practice, it's more that it's the weight shifting that allows your spine to move. So let's just go up and down like this a couple of times. This is where I'm always reminded of those little ducks that they used to sell in Chinatown that would not, that the beaks would go down and up like this. It's the same thing. You want to have a sense that there's just this bobbing feeling here. All right, good. Then we're going to hang here for a second, and I'm going to ask you to drop your hands. And if this hurts your back, especially because I'm asking you to have an elongated back, then come up. Don't go so low, okay? If it's feeling okay in your back, see how far down you can go, okay? But it's still lengthening through the spine. Then what we're going to do is let the arms float forward and then bring the hips forward. So it's almost like there's a breeze from behind you. It brushes your arms forward and then you bring your weight to center. This is very important because I want to be sure that when we're doing, this is a little piece that we're going to be doing in a form in a little while, that when you do it, you're really clear about where your weight is. And also that you don't put any pressure in your back. So again, if you're seated in a wheelchair, scooter, or regular chair, you can do this just like this, right? Just from seated, just tilt and come up. But if you're standing, we're going to go down for as far as feel right for your body today. Arms going to float forward and then come up. And then just shake. So let's all just shake for a minute. And let's do a little medical qigong for the kidneys. So we're going to take a wider stance here. Feet are turned out. The back of your right hand onto your left kidney. Now your kidneys are right down where your floating ribs are, if you're not quite sure. So just put down on the lower part of your rib cage on the opposite side. Okay, so we're going to shift into that side, and you're going to imagine that you're scooping water from a well or chi from a big chi field, shifting into the other foot. Come back to center, turn your hand so the back of your hand is now facing your forehead or is in front of your third eye. So you're going to reach out with your hand, shift your weight, dip down. This is an inhalation here. You're scooping up chi, and as you exhale, energy is traveling down the S curve of your arms all the way into that left kidney. Again, inhale. And exhale. And breathing in and out. Just 2 more times. Breathing in and out. Last time, in and out. And place your hands on your lower abdomen. Just take a moment to notice if you feel a difference between the 2 sides of your lower back right now. You might not. It's not a test. It's just an exploration. Okay, second side, take that second hand behind your kidney on the opposite side of your back. And we're going to go down the opposite way. Inhaling, going down. And exhale, coming in. And inhale. And exhale. And breathing in. And breathing out. And bring your hands to your lower abdomen. Okay, let's just shake out the legs. And let's, when we're going to work with the 3 gates of enlightenment, we're going to work with the concepts of wisdom, joy, and wealth. That's what those 3 gates are. Wisdom relates to what's called the heaven realm, where Shen has to do with your big perspective, your wisdom, your sense of guidance, your sense of being connected, something larger than yourself. When we work with the middle gate, which is joy or love, we're working with that ability to feel reciprocity, feel interconnected with one another, enter that state of sort of we are all, I always think of it as we are all one, or that sense of the web of life. And then on the earth realm, the final realm, which is the wealth, it's health and wealth is really the third gate. And the third gate has to do with not having how much money you have, but a sense of wealth and abundance in your life in terms of whatever you're abundant in. And it can be money, and it can be prosperity, and may it be so. But the focus when we say wealth is really about sort of the wealth of being alive, and health, the sense of robustness, our being in this body at this time. So that's the earth realm, and that has to do with what you create and what you manifest, what you want to be, particularly as we move to this turning of the light in solstice and then moving into the year 2022. Okay, so we're going to hold what's the vision, what's the sense of, what's the vision, what's the sense of the feeling sense of love and connection, and then what are some action steps that we take. So soften your knees, drop your sits bones down towards your heels, turn your feet so that they're parallel, and just shake for a moment. And then turn them out again. So you're opening the yin meridians inside your legs, which is the receptivity, and taking what you want to take in. So we're going to start with just the heaven realm with the shower of light, inhaling as you come up and exhaling as you come down. The hands come facing your body. So as you inhale, it's like you're gathering here a cup of light from the sun and the moon and the stars. And we're just infusing ourselves from the top down through the bottom, from the top of the head down through your tailbone, down through your legs, feet into the earth. One more time, inhaling up, gathering that sense of connection to that larger self, God, Goddess, the divine. Exhaling, taking that energy in. Let's do it one more time, this time silently. Bring your hands to your lower dantian. And then bring your hands to your head and just let your hands rest on your head for a moment. Close your eyes. And if wisdom were to speak to you right now, if your guidance were to speak to you right now, what would it say? Just listen for any message. Open yourself for any message from your guidance or from your connection to that larger self that we can call the divine. Okay, and then open your eyes. I'm going to reverse the movement for Wei Qi. We're moving into the human realm. This has to do with our sense of interconnection, our sense of what your radiance is, what your charisma is, how you appear out in the world. But it's also about what is the reciprocity that you experience in your life, that sense of being able to be in a place of give and take. So we're inhaling up and exhaling out. Now I'm crossing my wrists, but it doesn't matter which hand's on top. I tend to alternate just for the sake of balance, but you don't even need to do that. It's not prescribed. So you just get to do whatever feels right for you as you inhale up. Now we're going to imagine relaxing that solar plexus and heart and reaching out all the way out through the very tips of your fingers. And again, inhaling up and exhaling out. Now let's do it one more time silently. And just imagine that you let your heart shine. And make fists with your thumbs on the inside, ground. Turn one direction or the other, doesn't matter which one. We're going to do this 3 times here. Same thing, letting yourself radiate out from your heart, from between your shoulder blades, from your solar plexus. And round. And then other side. And ground. Place your hands on your heart chakra on the center of your chest, your thymus gland. Let's circle a few times in each direction. this is the center of your immune system. Then it's also, of course, energetically, it's one of the most radiant areas in our bodies. When they measured it at HeartMath, for example, they find that it extends a vibrational energy out further than any other part of our body. Let's go around in the other direction a few times. And what I'd like to do is just take a moment with your hands still on your heart, close your eyes, and just take a moment to listen to your heartbeat. And what if you were to name something that you want with this turning of the light as we move into 2022, to that new calendar year, Western calendar year, what is it that you want? It can be in your business, it can be in relationships, it can be health or inner work. What would you love to see happen? Let yourself just imagine. And what is the quality that you'd like to bring? So that quality could be love, interconnection, or joy, or anything that you want to think of, that your heart wants to express. Okay, so we've had a message from our guidance and from our heart. And you can play with this. This can change over time, but just let yourself receive it in whatever way feels right for you. I'm going to finish with the earth realm with the left hand under the right, and bring your hands down by your groin, basically. I'm going to inhale as you come up and exhale as you go down. Now remember, I asked you before to focus on the ball of the big toe, the ball, the little toe, and the heel. Same thing here. And we're going to focus on those kidney one points, those bubbling well points. Imagine energy coming up through your legs, up through your spine, just like sap rising all the way up towards your heart. And then exhale and just release. And as you release, you can imagine letting go of whatever you feel like you need to let go of from this year, especially if you did the journal exercise, anything that you're releasing. So inhaling as you come up. And exhaling, releasing. And what happens as we release down into the earth is that energy, that stagnation goes down. It becomes compost. It becomes neutralized by the healing properties of the earth, so that when it comes up again, we're bringing up new, refreshed energy. So you know how we have these lessons that we live through and they become food for growth. Let's just think of it that way, letting go of the pain and the suffering around it, letting that food for growth occur. And then as you inhale, allow that energy to come up through your back, through your spine, and come down. Continue to move up and down. As we work with the earth realm, we're also working with our unconscious, the things that that appear to us in our dreams only. As we bring the hands up, we're really bringing that energy up to light, be able to, again, transfer anything that has been hard or difficult, which I know many of you have experienced this year, many of us have experienced this year, and allowing that to become something that ultimately can add to our sense of strength or our health or our sense of wealth or abundance. All right, good. Let's finish with the hands on the lower dantian or on the belly for a moment between your navel center and the top of your pubic bone. Close your eyes. And as you just breathe, if you were to think of nourishment coming from the earth, what is the nourishment that you're calling for? It could be in the sense of, better diet, good food, all the way to support from people in a project that you're doing, or ability to feel grounded when you feel ungrounded, so a sense of being connected to feet on the ground, or anything else. What is the earth? What's the gift of the earth for you today? Okay. I'm going to ask you to come forward. And of course, you can revisit these questions later. You can watch the recording, put it on pause so that you can take a little more time to listen. I'm very aware of trying to get a lot of information out for these 45 minutes. But what I'd like you to do is open up your chat, if you would, and just put heaven says this, human, that, and earth. What are the three things that heaven, human, and earth are telling you today? And this might change over the course of the next 3 weeks, or it might not. But I'd love to see what you have to say. So we've got from heaven, grace and serenity so far. Your life is in your hands, Jane. Rest deeply. Hi, Laura. And of course, just so you know, if you don't want to share this or don't want to put it out publicly, that's absolutely fine. If you'd be interested to send it to me, I would still love to hold it with you if you want to send it to me an email later. But I'd love to hear what it is that you're working with, because it matters. Heaven, peace, Joan, Janet, earth support and help. I don't know if we got your human realm, your heart, Janet. Hi, Simbwala. Good to see you too. Heaven, know yourself, Alyssa, beautiful. Heart, lead and I'll follow, Jane. Heaven, angels are standing by, ask, so true, Fred. Susanna, endless possibilities for the heaven realm. Heart, lead with authenticity, and earth, rest and stillness. Yes. I'm not sure what that is, Naomi. Irene, calmness for heaven. Maxine, follow your intuition for the heaven realm. Rahana, everything you seek is within you. Beautiful. Human, love from Joan. Human, ease of communication. Heaven says enough, more and more. Simbala, have human, love, love, love. Irene, self-confidence. Stay present and be home. Sandra, heaven, stay open to all. Human, be well. So I'm not going to read all of these, but I will read them after, and they're perfect. You're right on target with what these different symbols are. So when you do this, we're going to now go into the 3 gates of enlightenment. I want to just keep those in the back of your mind. If you haven't put them down, at least let yourself think about them. Okay. So 3 gates of enlightenment is an empowerment form. And again, Sherry, I'll ask you to spotlight me again. It's an empowerment form where it's a way of kind of activating energy through your body to be able to sustain, particularly when things are feeling hard, whether it's hard because there's turns in your life that were painful and difficult, or whether it has to do with being able to have the stamina to carry a project through to its end, particularly, like a creative project or something like that, or whether it has to do with your business or something that you're wanting to see happen. For example, I know there's some of you who are doing events. Like if you want to have that sense of the event, really bring your full self, build your stamina for that event. This is a great form to practice, and I would encourage you to go ahead and practice it with the recording if you don't know it already. All right, so we're going to begin this time with the feet hip distance apart but parallel. Okay, and I want you to soften your knees. Again, focus on the big toe, little toe, and heel, and lengthen your spine so that the crown of your head is lifted up high. I'm going to begin by inhaling, bringing energy, your hands back behind you, and you're scooping from the past anything that feels like it's brought you to today in a lessons type of way, or positive way, where you're using that. And then we're going to use that energy to activate your gate of wisdom. So I'll have you put your fingers close to one another, but not actually touching. They're close to one another. Going to soften those knees, drop that tailbone, lengthen your spine. This is activation. Now, if you tap your fingers together, this isn't part of the form, but I like to do this for the experience. Tap your fingers together. You'll feel a little bit of tingling start to happen on the tips of the fingers. Now, move your hands apart. Palms are turned up. Shoulders are down. And I'd like you to move your hands around and notice if you can feel almost like a little buzz between the fingertips. You might feel it, you might not. This is just about exploration. All right, so that's activating the gate of wisdom. And then we're going to relax, bring the hands up, and we're going to bring the hands here and hold. So what we're going to do is just imagine that you have a line of energy going between your two palms and the nape or the base of your skull, top of your neck, which is called the jade pillow. We're going to have a three-way connection here. And what you're going to imagine here is you've activated your wisdom. And now you're going to just take a moment to hold what that wisdom is, what that vision is. So some of you named some things in the heaven realm that you just seemed really spot on to me. What would you like to hold here as a vision for yourself during this time of the turning of the light? Maybe it's just a sense of being connected with a lot of people. Maybe it has to do with a creative project, or maybe it has to do with healing from some difficulty or tragedy. Maybe it has to do with simply being available to inspiration. Then we're going to just release anything that doesn't contribute to our wisdom. So this is also releasing those naysayers, the internal and external naysayers. The hands come out, the hands come up the center line, and then you're going to push. And it's a nice light push. What you're doing here is you're pushing, you're giving yourself space. You can imagine that there's somebody that you're pushing, like you're a 1,000-armed goddess pushing in all directions. You want to create space so that you can hear yourself think, hear yourself tap in to guidance in whatever ways you like to do. We're moving now into the gate of joy. So bringing the hands back again, scooping from the past, anything that helps inform your joy. And we're going to activate joy. And this happens a little bit lower. So it's going to happen about heart level. And then we're going to drop the hands and we're going to hold or contain joy. And when I say contain, I don't mean smush it down. I mean really own it. So that you can have, again, this triangle between your hands, your palms, your what's called lagom points, right in the center of your palm, and the space between your shoulders. Those of you who came to some of the summer practices, we worked with the cobra and the lamb, the backbone of the heart, your passion. You want to have a sense that your palms are connected to the space between your shoulders, which supports your heart. It has to do with your conviction, what matters to you. And let me just take a moment to hold. And we're going to just imagine that you're here in a field of love or joy. And you're breathing in joy and breathing it out. And even if you don't feel that right now, just pretend. So inhale and exhale. Let's do it one more time. Breathing in and out, and then relaxing, releasing anything that would take away your joy. Just let that go. Any part of that, again, internal or external naysayers, you can't have that. This drops it into the earth where it can compost. And then we're going to summon energy from the earth. Inhale. And just like we did on the other level, we're going to exhale and we're going to imagine pushing space. You're not pushing things away. You're opening up the space of your heart channel, of this energetic field that surrounds you. It's measurable. All right, inhale. Going now into the final gate, which is health and wealth. And for this, we're going to scoop again. That part's the same. But now what we're going to do, you don't need to turn sideways. I'm doing that so you can see me, is reaching down. So we're going to reach down towards the earth. So if you're in a wheelchair, scooter, or chair, you're going to just tilt forward from your sits bones to whatever your ability allows. If you're standing, you can go down as far as your body wants to go. And what I'd like you to do is look back between your legs. See if you can imagine seeing 10 feet back, or maybe you can, maybe you're in a big enough room, you can see 10 feet back. And you're going to breathe in and imagine energy coming up your legs, and as you exhale, it's going down out the top of your head and down towards your hands. So you're going to stay still, but you're going to circulate energy. Inhale coming up, drawing energy up from the earth. Exhale, releasing the brain mutter, the doubts, all the stuff that keeps us stuck down into the earth. One more time. Inhaling up and exhaling out. Now, as you inhale this time, remember we've practiced this. The arms float forward and then the hips come forward and we're back up. And now we're going to align heaven, wisdom, human, joy and love, earth, wealth and health. And I Again, we're going to make that space. This time I want to imagine you're pushing through mud. Really put all of your effort into pushing out all the way out around. Let's do the whole thing again. Inhale and exhale. Activate your wisdom. Inhale. Hold your breath for a moment and just contain it. Know what you know. Hear that voice of wisdom. Exhale, releasing anything that says you don't have access to that. And then inhale. And as you exhale, it's a light push, giving yourself a sense of space to really be with your own wisdom, your own guidance, your own connection to the divine. Then inhale. And exhale. Activate your joy. Inhale. Hold for a moment and just connect to that backbone. Hold here. Moment to feel that you have space for joy. It's your birthright. Then exhale, releasing anything that tells you somehow you don't deserve or can't have joy or love for that matter. And then inhaling up. I'm going to push a little bit harder than on the first round. Just a little bit more resistance here. Really making space. There's so many messages we tend to get that say we aren't lovable or we can't have joy. But this is not even true. It's an illusion. So you're just making space to know you have this right. You have this birthright. And then and exhale. We're going to hang down. And we'll take 3 breaths. Inhaling up the legs. Exhaling down the head and arms. Inhaling up the legs. Exhaling down. Inhaling, receiving from the earth. Exhale, releasing down to earth whatever it is that's in our brain matter that we don't need. And then inhale, coming up. Exhale. And inhale, a little more energy for the push this time. Exhale. Now, I'm going to go just a little, 1 or 2 minutes over because I want to do this again silently so that when you're practicing, you can just go to this last version and just do the movement with me. When you're inhaling, you're going to come up. And bring your hands to the lower dantian. Now I'm going to stop the recording, but I will stay on for any Q&As that you might have. Please stay if you'd like to. This is something that I would just encourage you to practice any of these. I'll be sending you a link in a little while. To think, let yourself really go into a place of imagination around your wisdom, your joy, and what creates a sense of health, wealth, abundance, or solid grounding for you. And I look forward to hearing what you say. We will go over this briefly next time, and then we'll add up on the other one. I'm hoping that you'll use these for practice as well as just coming to the class if you can, so that they starts to become more and more familiar, less and less having to depend on my voice. So I look forward so much to seeing you next time. Thank you so much for joining me today. Until next time, be well and let the chi flow. Bye-bye.